It's funny. I just watched it
Is
today.
it? Okay. No.
Wow. The crowd. Which grandpa is that?
My Papa Dan.
Oh, the white one.
Not Papa Dan.
Did you call him that?
No, whatever.
Since I'm giving a speech this time, does it matter if I sit on the side versus in the front with you guys? You know?
No, it's fine.
Okay, then I sit this time. Last time I was sitting on the ground, and I was like,
Well, I would say sit on the side just because like everyone walks up from the side.
okay,
But it's up to you.
cool, thanks.
Breathing can 24 hours. Not even 24 hours. Dang. I'm so excited.
Haha.
Hee hee hee. I've had this live stream going for like
All right, if everyone can take a seat, that'd be awesome. Not as packed as the last one, but that's okay. That's okay. We'll still have a good time. So we've got 5 performances for you tonight of the multiple events that the speech team will be taking to the national tournament. Last year at the national tournament, we got 7th place and out of around 8 schools, and so we're hoping to make it happen again. But with this group, we've got some really solid stuff, so we think it will up in placing. So we're excited for that. So we've got 5 performances for you. The first one's going to be a duo. Oh, excuse me. Those of you that are here for 210, in your what's that called?
Program.
I'm tired. That program, there's a sheet in there. So tell us who your small section instructor is, and then your name. Make sure you write your name legibly, and then small section instructor, make sure you put who they are, not me, right? So we can make sure we get them to the correct small section instructors. Any questions on that? Awesome. Okay, our first performance is going to be a duo interpretation. You can come in. Come on in. So our first performance is going to be a duo interpretation. It's 2 individuals doing a piece of literature, a performance of a piece of literature. How many of you have seen the movie Chirac? No one. Okay, it's fine. So what it is it's 2 individuals. In like movies and on stage, they actually like look at each other and like talk to each other. They don't do this here. They use offstage vocals. Don't ask us why. It's just the rules. It's what they do. They're going to hold these little black books, the manuscripts. Again, don't ask why. It's just the rules. It's what we do. So doing their duo performance is going to be a freshman from Florida, right?
Yeah.
What city? Wesley Chapel, Florida, and a senior from Milwaukee, Marissa Lockhart and Jordan Blythe.
Welcome to Chicago! What? Yeah! Get it, girl! Hey! Bang, bang, bang!
Warning, this is an emergency.
This is an emergency.
Homicides in Chicago, Illinois
Have surpassed the death toll of American Special Forces in Iraq.
Over 400 school-age kids have been shot this year.
On July 4th, 2015, American Independence Day,
55 people were shot and wounded.
10 were murdered, including a 7-year-old boy. Bang! Bang! Is that my baby?
What happened?
What happened? Did y'all see something?
Did y'all see something?
Did y'all see something?
You ain't seen nothing.
Ain't nobody out here seen nothing.
Y'all ain't seen nothing.
Welcome to Chirac, the land of pain, misery, and strife. Folks all Windy City been filleted with a king-size butcher knife, and that's real shit. It all started with a gorgeous Nubian sister. A baby was so fine, she made George Zimmerman and Darren Wilson want to kiss her. Hey, Beyonce knows herself had to bow down to this chocolate brown sister that was finer than a motherfucker.
They called me Lysistrata, a woman like no other.
What about you, Miss Lysistrata? You seen something? You gonna get your day, Lysistrata. You and your damn boyfriend.
The Greek comedy Lysistrata tells the story of a group of women who withhold sex to get their men to end the Peloponnesian War.
Inspired by Lysistrata, filmmaker Spike Lee retells the epic poem by placing it in the crossfire of Chicago's rampant gun violence.
One of the questions that has always surrounded Lysistrata is, are the women agents or objects?
Do they see themselves possessing agency over their bodies, or their bodies and sex as the only power they have left in a patriarchal world?
And the people of Chicago feel the same way when someone like Donald Trump blames Chicago for its violence, all while ignoring the systemic factors that created Chirac.
A Spike Lee joint. Welcome to Chirac. Where the Greeks and the Trojans running this track. We got Cyclops ruling the orange Trojans in the back, while Chirac the Greek king got his purple picking up the slack. Oh, well, smashing that Lyssa Strata Gate.
Chirac, you lame ass silly motherfucker.
But she decided enough is enough.
Look, Chirac, I love you, but that's all I can take. Now listen up, everybody. Quiet down. Quiet. Thank you for coming. But hey, you in the back, can you please shut the hell up?
Ooh,
Thank
you
you.
heard her.
I gathered us all here today because we all got a man in the orange and purple colors. And we might be Greeks and Trojans, but we women.
Women.
We black. Women. So I devised a method to end the
Ooh,
bloodshed.
tell them what the method is. What's the plan?
We force our men to negotiate peace by exercising conscious self-control
Conscious
and
self-control.
total
And
abstinence.
total abstinence. Oh, hell no, bitch.
Look, yo, no. Just a day. Imagine a week.
You right.
A month. A year, girl. They gonna bring the peace.
All right. And so what if we do? Who they gonna run to? The thoughts?
Well, look, we'll enlist them too. Look, we want our babies to thrive. We want our men alive. We're gonna have to organize. So, repeat after me. I will deny. Girl.
I will deny
All rights of access or entrance
all rights of access or entrance
to every husband or lover
to every husband or lover
who comes to my direction in erection.
who comes to my direction in erection.
No peace.
No pussy.
No peace.
No pussy.
What? No peace. No pussy.
No peace. The red wine has been drunk. The plan is now struck. Oh, all y'all about to get punked. Stop the murder madness, or there'll be no more pokes. Some even thought that shit was a hoax. How can them females give up the long dick in a damn stroke?
Yo. I ain't in no game.
Yeah.
You telling me Lyssa Strata gonna stop my girl from giving me what I need?
Yeah, see, there's too much ass for all that trash.
Too much ass.
We got all the cheese.
All the cheese.
But where's the nacho? Nancy Euphrates, rise up.
Yes, sir.
Like the battles of the past, we must come together to whoop some female ass.
What's that ass?
Do your duty, drop that booty. Do your duty, drop that booty. No peace, no pussy. No peace, no pussy. Lock it up, lock it up, lock it up.
Lock it up. It has been 3 months, ladies. Can you believe it?
Gentlemen, it's been 3 long, hard months. I need some motherfucking pussy and I need it now. It's driving me fucking insane. Booty, 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 booty. The men were not happy, but they knew what to do. They rounded up their troops to rain on this parade, knock some sense into them females to stop this pussy withholding charade.
No peace, no pussy.
Bitches and hoes come out to play. Bitches and hoes come out to play. Bitches and hoes.
Come out to play. No peace, no pussy.
Man, y'all acting like a bunch of bitches. Need a man like me to teach a heifer how to behave.
I'm sorry our effort to reform has left you unable to perform.
Girl, them chastity belts ain't nothing for a manly man's keys. It's time to let that thing breathe.
No peace, no pussy. See, we don't even want to fight, but you Cro-Magnon types can't walk upright.
Pack up the Gloria Steinem Act and get your ass back in the set.
This ain't no motherfucking joke. You old tired dicks just want a Viagra poke, and besides, even before the strike, that's what your little penile implants was like. So,
You trifling little black bitch.
this is about life and death. About a community that's a wreck, for we are trying to free these slaves. slaves to the madness, slaves to the violence. We're trying to make sure these fools put down these guns and stop thinking that this craziness is fun. Saving lives. That's our job. No peace. No pussy.
Well, there you have it, folks. Lysistrata formed an army more powerful than a Roman Empire, burned through the city like a Chicago fire. So remember Queen Prophet Lysistrata and the lessons she's taught you.
Let's all together make Chirac back into Chicago.
Peace. Two fingers. Bang! This is an emergency. This is an emergency. Chicago Sun-Times, January 26, 2019. Bang,
Eight
bang.
people shot in Chicago's first weekend of 2019.
Bang.
Chicago Tribune, July 9th, 2018.
426 people have been shot in Chicago so far this year. Bang!
USN, July 3rd, 2018.
More than 60 children under the age of 15 have been shot. Bang!
This is an emergency.
This is an emergency.
ABC News, October 2018.
Just to think that a 2-year-old was murdered, shot in the neck. In order to shoot a child, you have to aim
I
down.
want the people of this neighborhood to speak up for this baby.
This child deserves to live. Bang, bang. This is an emergency. This is an emergency. This is an emergency. Welcome to Chirac.
All right. Our next performance is going to be an after-dinner speech, which is a humorous, persuasive speech. So if you find something funny, feel free to laugh. That's what it's designed to hopefully do. So our senior, one of our seniors, you're from that one town up there. St. John, Indiana. Senior Ethan Gomez.
Nick Jonas, the hottest of the Jonas Brothers. While I am no longer a preteen crushing on his big, succulent, meaty lips, my hopes for marrying Nick Jonas still have not died. Especially when he tweets stuff like, "I love my gay fans. Okay, I'm interested." Or when he says stuff like, "Well, I can't say that I haven't had any gay sex with any gay men." Confused, interested, but mad. Why am I mad? Because Nick is only there for the queer community. It's more publicity stunts. Like when he stood at Stonewall after the Orlando shooting. Because that's just what we wanted to see. A straight white man talking about dead brown queer bodies. Oh, what the fuck? And Nick is not the only one, guys. There's also Kevin and Joe. The Jonas Brothers. Topless of June 16, 2016 states that gay or queer pandering is when the straight community pretends to give a shit about the queer community. And then get this, you guys are gonna love this, you're gonna love this. They really don't. At first, everything seems fine. Nick's an advocate. He donates money. He flosses. He's a good guy. While these phonies fly under the radar, they're distracting us from the real queer icons who are putting in the hard work. People like Laverne Cox, Danny DeVito, Greg, my Grindr date from last week. What? He did some hard work. Nick just isn't putting his money where his mouth is. Instead, he's putting his money in his mouth. His gingivitis-free mouth. No! Nick Jonas, other celebrities, and big corporations are exploiting the queer community for profits. And we're not even getting a dig on the deal. The problems, causes, and solutions. I cannot give any more money to the Jonas Brothers. It's a metaphor. The Jonas Brothers are the new face of homophobia, which I guess is a step up from the old face of homophobia, the Pope. But like an order of attractiveness, Nick, Joe, the Pope, Kevin. I don't get straight people. Oh, really? I don't get it. I tried for 18 years. Getting in fights at the mall, going to Ed Sheeran concerts, pooping. 3 problems. First, me. Second, queer baiting distracts us from actual queer media. And third, queer baiting makes targeting the queer community easier. According to Peak News of February 23rd, 2016, queer baiting is fishing for a sparkly lure, meaning when authors, writers, and showrunners attempt to attract an LGBT audience by hitting hard on same-sex relationships with characters, though they are never fully consummated. Like, we get it, J.K. Rowling. Dumbledore's gay, Dobby's trans, and Hermione's only pretending to like Ron so she can bang a ring Ginny behind his back. And I'm not saying that I want to see these characters bang it out on screen. I'm just saying I want to see these characters bang it out on screen. And when you have them come up so many years later, it's as if you're trying to profit off of hopeful homos while maintaining the appearance of a supportive ally. Queer media is finally becoming mainstream. However, they tend to get not nearly as much attention as their hetero counterparts do. Shows like The Big Bang Theory. Oh, a perfect title for a queer TV show. We all know there's no such thing as a gay man named Sheldon. You wanna know why? Because we ain't in it for the shells, honey. We in it for the corals, the lobsters, the crabs. What? You come up with something better. I'm tired. And I'm gay. I'm gay and I'm tired. Let's be real. Companies have been taking advantage of pride ever since the hamburger was in that commercial with the pig mask and the cattle prod, and he was electrocuting Ronald McDonald. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba, I'm loving it. Or as the hamburger says, "Shut up, bitch! I'm telling you to sing." Let's take a look at it. Yes. The came out special rainbow collection during the month of Pride, in which box of June 26, 2018 critiques. Because the company was still a major sponsor for the 2018 World Cup in Russia, a country that is still prosecuting queer individuals with their anti-LGBTQ laws. Or we could look at H&M, who only donated 10% of their Pride Out Loud collection sales to charity. But they still claim to be allies with their rainbow rompers and their rainbow shoes. Rainbow shoes, please. Find me a shoe that bangs another shoe, and then I'll be it. Get it. Get it. Companies like participate in queer culture with the assumption that will make up for any anti-LGBTQ rhetoric and politics. And we like to shop. So we're like, okay, what? Cash. Fingers. Fine, cash. I only have quarters. So I just re-downloaded Grindr again for the first time in 2 years. Papa, that's a gay dating app. Is that my bosses are 5 feet away? Oh, hey. Looks like you would cause a lot of causes. There are 2. Being queer is in Styleland. We just want to survive. But first, being queer is great. Refinery 29 of June 20th, 2018 states that cisgendered straighties want to appropriate queer culture because it's seen as defiant. And is this saying that we don't want to share our culture? It's saying that our culture is more than just a scene from A Star is Born where Bradley Cooper looks at Lady Gaga and says, I just wanted to get a better look at you. It's a history of secrecy and violence. It's years of fighting against repression. It's getting caught sucking dick in the choir room. But I like my Sopranos. And the TV show The Sopranos. My coaches said I needed a joke for the older audiences. The whole problem is that they reap the benefits of a culture that we have fought so hard to make mainstream. And second, we just want to survive. Let's be real. Straighties love gay shit. They love going to brunch, watching the musical Rent, butt sex. That's mine. Well, it happens die hard. And queer people allow pandering to continue because to us, pandering ensures safety. But as Bard College professor Michael Sadowski points out in his book, Safety Isn't Enough, this unequal exchange of culture might make the queer community feel like they have a place in society, because any representation is better than no representation, right? Well, this unequal exchange of culture stunts our fight for equality and reminds us that we are only equals if we have something to offer. And this ain't Queer Eye. I can't fix ya. I want to, really bad, but I can't. Speaking of Queer Eye, I have had thousands of people tell me that I look just like Anthony. To which my coaches say, Ethan, you just have a high perception of yourself. To which I say, as a queer icon, why can't it be both? But I can't do it alone. So here's two solutions. Buy better and do better. First, companies need to make a change. And I'm not talking about a soft change here, people. I'm talking about a hard change. No pennies, no nickels, only quarters. Forbes magazine, August 15, 2018 states that there are just simple solutions as how companies can become more queer-friendly. This list includes simple examples such as by teaching diversity and inclusion in the workplace, by supporting local support groups, by creating a safe place in the work environment, and by straight bashing. Yeah, I see you, straighty. Moisturize. It takes more than selling queer clothing to fight bigotry. It takes real, tangible, difficult action. To start, just pay attention to which companies put money in our mouths. And I can fit a lot in here. Like at least 3 tennis balls. And second, we actually have to do something. I want to live in a world where I can be as queer as possible, even if it isn't palatable or marketable. I have been living in Indiana for almost my entire life, and I am tired of hiding who I am. So, I am proud to announce that this year has been the gayest year of my life. I've even started douching. Sorry, Grandma. Pay attention to local support groups in your area and help make a more important place for queer individuals to live. I might never get to marry Nick Jonas. I might not ever get to put those beautiful curls or those pepperoni nipples. And that's okay, because everyone over problems, causes, and solutions, I hope we have all learned a very valuable lesson here. Don't pander the queer community. Pamper the queer community. Meet me after the showcase and I will give you my Venmo username. Oh, and I also take cash, but only quarters.
All right, our next performer is going to do a prose interpretation, so it'll look similar to what the girls did, but it's just a single performer. Prose interpretation is like a short cutting from like a novel or a story. Sometimes you write it yourself. But I skip it. Yeah, it is Lily. Got it. All right, senior from Noblesville, Indiana, Lily Schwab.
Ellie was a biter. She bit other kids in preschool, bit her cousins, bit her mom. Ellie loved fighting. And she kept fighting. Once, she tiptoed behind Robbie Petrick, smugly stacking blocks. Everything was quiet, normal, boring. And then here comes Ellie on all fours and she was no longer just a little girl, but a wild creature sowing chaos and destruction in her wake. Until one day, pretty Katie Davis pointed at Ellie and whispered loudly to her dad, "That one's Ellie. No one likes her. She bites people." And Ellie felt so sick with shame that she did not bite another person for more than 20 years. In the 1995 classic film, Species, scientists inject the DNA of an alien creature into the form of a beautiful woman, expecting her to be more docile and controllable. But in the end, she can't ignore her animalistic instincts and starts chowing down on all the dudes. These primal tendencies left over from the evolution process have been suppressed in society in the modern mind, predominantly the modern female mind. Throughout history, women have been perceived as less violent than their male counterparts. However, if we are to assume that we as women didn't inherit the same instincts from our primitive ancestors as men, it would be to spit in the face of not only truth, but our own DNA. Biter. By repeat. As an adult, Ellie still indulged in daydreams where she stalked her coworkers around the office, biting them. For a while, the world had succeeded in shaming Ellie out for biting. Therefore, for a long time, Ellie did not seriously consider biting her coworkers. Not until the office manager died of a heart attack at lunch in front of everyone, and the temp agency sent Corey Allen to replace him. Corey Allen. Green-eyed, blonde-haired, pink-cheeked Corey Allen, who certainly did not belong in an office environment. Ellie often walked in on hushed conversations between her coworkers centered around how badly they wanted to sleep with Corey Allen. But Ellie didn't want to have sex with Corey Allen, no. She wanted to bite him. Hard. That night, Ellie took her favorite notebook off the shelf and turned to a fresh page. Reasons not to bite Corey Allen. 1, it is wrong. 2, I could get in trouble. 3, I could get fired. 4, I could get arrested. / fined. What if she went up to Corey Allen in private and bit him? Imagine, it's late in the afternoon. Past 5. Everyone in the office has gone home, but Corey and Ellie, he stands loading paper into the Xerox machine. She stands behind him, inappropriately close. He stiffens, preparing to politely reject her, not because he has standards for workplace propriety, no, but because he's already hooking up with Michelle in accounting. Of course, he could run straight to HR, but the whole conversation would be completely ridiculous. Ellie, did you bite Corey? No! What a weird question. Ellie took her notebook to work and looked at it every time the temptation to bite Corey Allen grew too great. She invented a game called Opportunity. Whenever she found herself in a situation where she could have bitten Corey Allen and didn't, she awarded herself a point. When she reached 10 points, she took herself out for ice cream. By the time the annual holiday party had rolled around, playing Opportunity wasn't very much fun anymore. Ellie didn't want to fantasize about biting Corey Allen. She wanted to bite him, and the fact that she couldn't made her unbelievably mad. Yes, sometimes you want something and you can't have it, but it was also true that sometimes people knew what they wanted was unethical, and then they went ahead and did it anyway. Still, Ellie couldn't help but glare as Corey Allen mingled flirtatiously. Ellie felt
overwhelmed with despair. Close to suicidal. I mean, what was the point of anything? Maybe she should just bite Corey Allen and hurl herself off a cliff. Ellie went to the bathroom to splash some water on her face, and when she emerged, there he was. In the otherwise empty hallway, waiting for her. Hello, Ellie, Corey Allen said brightly. I didn't want you to leave without saying goodbye. I was just peeing. Ellie said as she tried to brush past him. But Ellie, do you see that there? On the ceiling? And as Ellie looked up, he sealed his lips over hers, shoving his tongue in her mouth. She tried to push him off, but he groped her with one hand and stuck his tongue down her throat. Get off! But then Ellie thought, here's my chance. Though she was 20 years out of practice, Ellie's aim was steady and her mark was true. She opened her mouth like a lamprey Oh shit! Oh shit. She'd gone too far. He'd be disfigured. She was going to jail. But at least she'd have this loving memory to look back on. I saw the whole thing. It was Michelle from accounting. That was assault, she said. He assaulted you. Well, actually, Oh, yeah. Ellie said. He did. It turned out that Corey Allen had groped not only Ellie and not only Michelle, but many other women in the office. Corey left and Ellie didn't even get a letter in her file. She changed jobs regularly after that, though. Because as Ellie quickly learned, there was one in every office. The man people whispered about. All Ellie had to do was listen and wait and give him an opportunity. And soon enough,
Mary said it outside. Prior to you coming in, I asked some of you to write down like a favorite quotation, song lyric, something like that. So where are those people at? Okay, so what we're going to do, impromptu is the person doesn't know what they're going to be speaking about prior to entering the room. They walk in and they find like on a piece of paper, a quotation, something along those lines. And then they have 2 minutes to prepare a 5-minute presentation. So I'm gonna read these to you and we're going to vote on which ones we like. First one says, be wary of what you find between the stars. Demons have breached the gates where once only angels dared. Who said that? We'll just stay anonymous. The next one, I see, said the blind man. She doesn't even go here, Mean Girls. Abraham Lincoln once said, "If you are a racist, I will attack you with the North." Michael Scott. Okay, so show of hands. She doesn't even go here, Mean Girls. If you, I see, said the blind man.
Oh, no.
Okay, that one's beating that one. Be wary of what you find between the stars. Demons have breached the gates where once only angels dared. You. Abraham Lincoln once said, "If you are a racist, I will attack you with the North." Michael Scott. It looks like, I see, said the blind man. All right, so bring in Mary. All right, Mary, your position's over here. I'll give you standard time signals, okay? Freshman, doing impromptu speaking, Mary Engel. That's right. Seconds. One minute. $1:30.
In Peggy Orenstein's book, Girls and Sex, a book I carefully smuggled into my house to avoid the ever watchful gaze of my very Baptist parents, feminist author Peggy Orenstein explains how she went around the country interviewing hundreds of young women and girls, asking them about their sexual experiences. And what Peggy Orenstein finds throughout her book is that while in the United States, women have made strides towards equality in the workplace and in politics, when it comes to the bedroom, sex remains as male-centric and male pleasure-oriented as ever. And what Peggy Orenstein points out is that while in public our language might celebrate equality for women, when we look at the everyday reality, that fact can be often very different. This notion of reality versus the way that we phrase things in words is echoed in the quotation, which is anonymous, saying, "I see," said the blind man. And the irony of this blind man using metaphorical language to indicate that he understands something that someone has said indicates the important linguistic principle that language is not always literal. And this is true for two main reasons. First, because language is often made up of images. And secondly, because language is ultimately action-based. So we first see that Peggy Orenstein was right, that women haven't yet achieved full equality despite our assurances, verbally otherwise, that language is not always literal because language is often made up of images. We see this through two main examples. First, Nancy Pelosi and tokenism, and secondly, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. So first, Nancy Pelosi and tokenism. Just yesterday, Nancy Pelosi went on 60 Minutes, where she was asked about how she plans to unify the Democratic Party. And when specifically pressed on the issue of the new Congresswoman, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and her more left style of politics, Nancy Pelosi quickly interjected, saying that her group, AOC's group, was only about 5 people, showing that while Nancy Pelosi is willing to pose on a cover of a magazine with women like Rashid Tlaib, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and Ilhan Omar, when it comes to actually defending them in real policy, she's often willing to throw them under the bus, showing that once again, Nancy Pelosi's language is about more than just what she literally says, but the images that she creates and whether or not she can really back them up in real life. But we secondly see this through the example of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who in the past couple days leading up to his re-election promised that he would continue to not only build settlements on the West Bank, where far more Palestinians live than Israelis, but that he also wants to annex that part of territory, which is illegal according to international law. And what we see is that while the Israelis talk about how they have a right to that nation and why they think that they are doing what is right for them, ultimately, when we take a look at the real images and the real drastic consequences of those actions, we see that it doesn't always make sense what they're trying to do. And it isn't necessarily mean that what they're doing is right, because language is often made up of those images. It is not always literal. But we see this not only through this idea of imagery and language, but secondly through action-based language. And we see this through 2 main examples. Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, and secondly, the new Ebola crisis in the Democratic Republic of Congo. So first, we see this through Ilhan Omar, who in the last couple days has had a drastic spike in death threats against her because of the way that people have talked about her comments about 9/11 at a conference where she discussed Islamophobia and how Islamic people are treated in the United States. And instead of standing by people who are Muslims and saying that they should not be harassed or threatened with death, instead people have thrown her under the bus, declaring that she is anti-Semite. And while we see that a lot of people say they care about anti-Semitism and care about 9/11, many of the people who have criticized her actually themselves refuse to vote for the 9/11 Victim Compensation Fund, while Ilhan Omar has committed herself to that cause. But we also secondly see it through the Ebola crisis in Congo, which is in a unique dilemma, because while they send aid caravans to rural villages to help the people there, they are often attacked by militant rebels. And so in order to help these caravans, they have to add militia. But when they add the militia, the people are rightfully upset and frightened and are not willing to trust these people coming to help them and to save them. And what we ultimately see is while these rebels in Congo might say that they want to change the government and make things better, we see that they're actually willing to cause a disease outbreak to become worse in order to fight for their own agenda. Going back to this notion, this quotation, "I see," said the blind man, we find that language is not always literal. And the linguistics idea is that language is often composed of images, but also actions. We see that Peggy Orenstein was right. We can say that women have reached equality, but the reality is often far different.
All right, and then our last speaker is going to be doing a poetry performance, which is going to look similar to, again, the duo at the beginning and then what we saw Lily do. What it is it's a group of poetry. So you find that relates kind of all around the same topic. You smash them together to form some type of theme, some type of argument. And so he's going to give you his poetry performance. He is a sophomore from Indianapolis, and his name is Richard Bowman.
No, please! Fuck you! Things that happened when my brother Sean was killed, number one, screaming.
Mom, girlfriend, best friend, me. Number 2, police sirens howling, cutting through the sound of the city. 3, questions, cops flash lights in our faces, and we all turn to stone. In case you didn't know, gunshots make everyone blind and deaf, especially when they make someone dead. I scanned the night in the news in anticipation of hearing gunshots protrude the silence of a Chicago summer night. They did. I watched a group of grown men pour malt liquor in the cracked throat of pavement in the name of youth. Then pack the back of a stolen jalopy, strapped with black market arsenal, and intoxicated vengeance. And I left the porch sign on phone. Now, I'm not saying that I agree with what they did. I'm just saying that we've learned not to judge people for how they grieve. Learn not to judge the hood for how it loves you back. In the hood, the rules are as follows. Rule number 1, you don't cry. Rule number 2, you don't snitch. And rule number 3, revenge. If someone you love gets killed, you find the person who killed them and kill them. Of all the issues facing inner city African Americans, one of the most pressing is the use of retaliatory violence as a form of justice within the community. And while the inclination to retaliate with violence undoubtedly sprung from the plight of an impoverished lifestyle, it primarily grew out of the overwhelming reality that another Black body will mean nothing to the police. Therefore, the rules were born. And while many within the community oppose the very existence of the rules, and outside forces use the rhetoric of Black on Black crime as a tool of criticism, who are we to tell the families or the community how to grieve? Using the poems Long Way Down by Jason Reynolds to represent the family, and How the Hood Loves You Back by Stephen Willis to embody various voices within the community, we come to understand that the rules weren't meant to be broken. They were meant for the broken to follow. I stood there, mouth clenched tight enough to grind my teeth to dust, and looked at my brother Sean, lying there like a piece of furniture left outside, like a stained up couch draped in a gold chain, his blood added to the pavement galaxy of bubblegum stars. The tape framed it like it was art. If the hood loves you, she'll make a monument of this location. This is now sacred ground, to be renamed as memorial and landmark. This is no longer Jefferson Avenue. And for the next 6 nights, you will see candles like this space holy, until the wind blows its silence, until the amber is blown in the direction of the summer's next casualty. I felt like crying, because you see, if the blood inside of you is inside of someone else, then you never want to see it on the outside of them. But crime is against the rules, and honor bestowed on those who showed the hood the most unwavering of loyalty. I'm talking street niggas. Most literally from cradle to grave. Most literally from corner to coroner. Most literally niggas who hug the block in their last moments, gasping for air, right before yellow tape makes a spectacle of their bodies sprawled on cement. I never seen a gun before. Never even touched one. I mean, it was like holding a newborn, except I knew the cry would be much, much louder. I stuck the cannon in the back of my waistband. At the elevator, gun strapped like a brick, rubbing my skin raw with each step. It seemed like time stood still. If the hood loves you, she'll write it in tombstone text. A boy's childhood nickname will be written in script across a double XL white tee. Ain't it funny how quickly death becomes fashionable? a testament to how tragic memories don't fade, even in the washing machine. So you can expect your closest of kin to tattoo your name in the most visible of places. Your birth date and Roman numerals will kiss the left side of your little sister's collarbone long before a boy ever does when the elevator door opened. There was no one there. So I pressed the L button and the door slowly began to close. But then 4 fingers slipped in, just barely catching it. Sean stepped into the elevator wearing exactly what he wore the night before. But not his alive outfit. His dead one. The one that came with bloodstains proves that no matter the politics, all black boys are doomed to die by bullets. But how can you complain when the hood loves you and we gonna keep loving you long after the gravel has swallowed your portion of the 40? Long after we pack that jalopy with vengeance, long after another boy's life is taken in retaliation of yours, continuing the cycle of trauma and street violence. I told him about the gun. Told him that I did just like he asked me, like a grandfather told our uncle, like our uncle told our father. I followed the rule. Explained to him that I was on my way to take care of rule number 3. Told him I knew it was rigged. Told him I thought it was rigged. Told him I knew it was rigged. Told him I thought it was rigged. Told him I knew it was rigged. And I was on my way to take care of rule number 3. Yes, y'all, the hood will love you enough to murder for you, but never enough to snitch. Yes, y'all, I know who did it. I was there when they bought the 4/5, and yes, y'all, I watched the news. I listened as they emptied the clip, and yes, y'all, I do it again. Yes, y'all, I do it again. Damn motherfucking right, I would do it again. Because I miss my brother so much. The rules are the rules, right, Sean? Right? Right? Tears poured from Sean's eyes as he nodded and hiccuped like a little kid. I thought you said no crying, Sean. No crying. You know, even though he wasn't supposed to cry, I still couldn't see him as anything less than my brother. My favorite. My own. Suddenly, the elevator came to a stop. The doors opened slowly, and Sean chased right after them. I stood alone in the empty box, a loaded gun still tucked in my waistband. Sean turned back towards me. Finally spoke. Just 2 words. You coming?
Representing us in Santa Ana, California. We leave at 3 a.m. To catch our flights. So this group of students won the National Speech Championship team in March, and then they will represent Ball State, where we will hopefully have a better finish than 7th this year. So they worked very, very hard. They won the state tournament. We've had a great season. And so I just want to thank all of you for joining us tonight. And if we will just send them a
a good luck cheer before we go. Be sure to follow us on social media if you want to see how things go throughout the week. And then if this is something that you are interested in doing and you'd like to learn more about it, I'd love to talk to any of you and tell you more about our program. So thanks all of you who drove to come here, and for those of you who took some time out of your evening to join us, we really appreciate it. Have a good night.
If you guys had extra credit sheets, there'll be people at both doors. Just hand them to them. Thank you.